민족사관고등학교 3학년 장유림 학생인데요. 남겨진 숙제, The Last Homework라는 주제로 발표하겠습니다.
It's Halloween tomorrow, so I thought I might as well start my speech with a scary story. One of the scariest, yet dreadful, yet tragic stories of all. It was a December of 1948. A woman was wandering in the middle of the night in front of a gate with barbed wires and fences. But she was scared to enter, so she just wandered around the gate from a distance, and she returned back home to her beloved children. But a few days later, she heard a news that a pile of dead bodies were found on the shore. She sensed something was wrong. She ran over to notice her husband lying dead on the shore. She put his body in a wheelbarrow, covered her beloved husband with her skirt, and then ran again into the woods. She hid herself in a dense forest full of pine trees, and she dug a hole and buried her beloved husband by herself. She moaned, she cried, until she fainted and collapsed onto the ground with the bare thought that if she entered the gate that day, her beloved husband wouldn't have passed away. But that is where not the story ends. After her husband's death, the woman's life turned into ashes. For some reason, she was confiscated of her home, and her relatives ignored her. And her only son was also the target of this mass societal bullying and was eliminated from every governmental job position he applied to. Because that is just how their logic works. The sin must be carried on to their children and their grandchildren. Decades have passed, yet the tale of the curse reminisced throughout the family tree, reaching myself, Yurim Jang. 1948, November, as the martial law of the 43 incident was declared, my great-grandmother lost her lifelong friend and lover. She was not a wife of a murderer, nor a thief, nor a criminal of any kind. There was only one reason she was mistreated as such, and it was because her husband, my great-grandfather, was involved in the uprising against unjust governmental power in the Jeju 4-3 incident, the second most violent event of Korean history, where 30,000 people, about 1/10 of the Jeju population, were sacrificed. Now, we can point many fingers into many different groups, into people in speaking of the cause of this event. But the one entity we must not forget is the government themselves. I cannot believe how lonely these people would have been with their own government ignoring their pain, and I believe this is the most tragic part of the tale. However, ladies and gentlemen, things have changed. We strived for decades to unravel the injustice of the 4-3 incident, and as a result, in the year 2000, a special law was enacted regarding the 4-3 incident, and now the people are renamed as victims instead of riots. Perhaps the very reason why I'm standing here today freely discussing on the topic of the 4-3 incident is thanks to the blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors fighting for democracy and truth. But, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot more to change. 70 years have passed, yet we don't even know the exact number of casualties. Some may say it is a thing of the past. Jeju Island is now teeming with the nation's most tourists and its tropical glory. Why do we have to lift the Band-Aid? Yet, I doubt that the peace and beauty of Jeju Island will last if we don't rinse the blood underneath this tropical paradise. My grandfather, who was born as a newborn at the time of the incident, is now 73 years old. My great-grandmother, the protagonist of this story, has died many years ago when the island was still under the pain, the remnants of discrimination. Are we going to wait until the last victim dies? Or are we going to strive to let them live a just, honorable life until their last breath? Let me rephrase the question, ladies and gentlemen. Are we going to let this event pass on, generations over generations, just as a mere horror story? I guess the answer to this question is very obvious. And now, it is time to take action. And that is our last homework. Thank you.